Would you pretty much rather write anything than a sales page? Well, you're not alone in that. There are few pieces of copy that conjure up more overwhelm and perfectionism than the simple sales page. Well, not exactly so simple, but I'm about to make it a whole lot simpler because I have a 3-step process that will help you pull together all of the copy that you need for your sales page. So if you're struggling to write a sales page, make sure to watch this video. Welcome back to my channel, Empire Builders, and if you're new here, my name is Haley Dale and I am a content strategist teaching you how to create more purposeful, productive, and yes, profitable content. So if that sounds like something you're looking for, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below this video to make sure that you get notified every time I have a new video, and that is every single Monday. So first off, I think we need to start with why are sales pages so difficult to write? I think that it comes down to the fact that we put so much pressure on ourselves that sales pages become quite intimidating. We put so much pressure on ourselves to sit down and write something brilliant right outside of the gate, and we forget that our primary job when writing anything is to simply communicate. I have written a lot of sales pages in my day for both myself and for clients, and it wasn't really until I learned to separate the writing process from the editing process that I was finally able to free myself up from that pressure of sitting down and writing something great right outside of the gate, which of course I'm going to end up with something great, but I know now that it doesn't happen during that first sit down, which is why I've divided it into 3 steps that you have to go through in order to get to that great. But if you're sitting down with the pressure of writing something, a sales page in particular, because there's so much pressure wrapped up in it, well, you're going to stay stuck for a long time. So if you're wanting to try something different, if you've been struggling with sales pages, let's dive into the method right now. But why is my approach to sales pages so different than maybe something that you have heard before? Well, contrary to the title of this video, How to Write the Perfect Sales Page, I don't actually believe that the perfect sales page in long form truly exists, right? That was confusing, so let me explain. I don't believe that you sit down on your computer or your couch or your table, wherever you sit down to write, and I don't think that you write a sales page from start to finish, or I don't think that that is how it normally happens for people. You might have a divine download and write it like that, but I don't think that's going to happen very often, and I don't think that it's something that you can consistently rely upon. So I do believe that a sales page is built up from smaller pieces of writing. When you look at a sales page, you notice that it's divided into sections. Here's the header, here's what's included, here are the testimonials, right? So if you instead focus on those smaller pieces of writing and then put it together, then you have a sales page, and it's a lot less overwhelming to write. So without making you wait anymore, I want to tell you what the 3 phases are. So phase number 1 in my sales page method is to detail it. So I use a process called creating an offer docket, which I'm going to share a little bit more about in a second here. But basically, we are detailing out everything in your sales page, and we're taking off the pressure that it takes for you to come up with that information. The second step is to assemble. So as I mentioned, a sales page is made up of smaller sections, right? The testimonial section, the what's included section, the guarantee section. A sales page is a huge piece of content, and these little smaller sections are like building blocks or Lego blocks that we put together to build your sales page. Step number 3 is finesse. So the magic is truly in the editing, and in this step, you're going to be polishing things up, making it sound more like you, fixing any typos or grammatical errors, basically just giving it that final once over before it's ready to go out into the world. So step number 1, let's chat about detailing it using my process called the offer docket. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I believe that any piece of writing, whether it's a blog post or a sales page or an about page, anything, is going to come down to the questions that you answer in order to form your outline for that piece. So by identifying the questions first and using those to organize your bigger pieces of writing, it's going to be a lot more manageable, and you're going to be able to focus simply on answering question by question. It takes a lot of that pressure off, and all you're simply doing is responding to a question. So one of the tools that I've created in order to help you write your sales page copy is the offer docket. Now you're also going to get access to that offer docket if you download my sales page copy kit below this video. So if you want to go through that with me, you can go and download that, and all of this is included in there as step number 1. The offer docket is essentially a form or an interview, basically some questions that you're going to answer about your offer. Now, while you're doing this, I don't want you focusing on anything else except answering those questions. I don't want you to get in your head. You're simply just like pretend you were having a conversation with your biz BFF or your coach or your mentor and just answer the questions. And if it makes it easier, and if you're not necessarily a writer, like I always have a pen in my hand pretty much, what I want you to do is I want you to even just hit record and focus on answering them. Even get someone to ask you these questions and record it. You don't necessarily have to write it right away. Whatever you have to do to get the answers to these questions, these are the ones that make up your offer docket. All right, so here are the questions to answer. What is the name of your offer? So pretty simple, right? This is a starting question. We're starting off easy, but just put down the name of your offer. What is the pricing for your offer? This is always relevant. And I would also put if you have payment plans or any other payment options that are available. Next up, if you were describing this offer to a friend, what it is, what it does, how it works, how would you tell them about it? So I want you to like imagine that you are talking to a coach or a mentor or your husband or boyfriend, your partner, your girlfriend, whoever it is. Just what would you say to them if you were describing this offer to them? Who is this offer for? So who stands to get the most benefit from signing up for your offer? Is it single moms? Is it other business owners? Is it people interested in growing on Instagram? Is it people who hate cooking? So think about who is that client? Who is that customer that stands to benefit the most from this offer? Next up is what problems does your offer solve? So really, because we've just identified who is going to benefit from this offer, I also want you to dig a little deeper in what types of problems are they looking to solve? What problems is your offer the solution for? Next up is what are the features of your offer? Create a list of all of those. And then for each of those, I want you to be like, what is the benefit of this feature? So here's an example. So if I said lifetime access, the benefit of lifetime access would be that you can go through it anytime you want, and you can go through it again and again as you want. What is your relationship to the offer? So what inspired you to create it? Do you have a personal story in this problem area that you maybe solve for yourself? What is that motivation, and why are you the right one to deliver this offer? So I really want you to write that personal story here, even if it's just in point bullet form right now. Next up is, do you have any testimonials for this offer from delighted customers? Hopefully. Or if this is a brand new offer, you might be sitting with some testimonials for related types of offers. So you can go and use those as well. Next up is, what are the 3 main results, transformations, or experiences from this offer? Next up is, do you have a special that you could add to this offer? So I'm thinking pricing specials, I'm thinking limited time bonuses, anything that you have. And this one, you might need to go and crawl through the coffers of what you've already created to see what might work there. Next up is, what is the point of sale for your offer? So where are people buying it? If it's a pricey offer, are people needing to talk with you first? So your point of sale would be a sales call in that case. Next up, I want you to gather all of the important links for your offer. So this would be the sales page, which you're writing right now, so you might not have, but once you do have it, you can put it in there. Thank you pages, checkout pages, case studies, anything that relates back to this offer. Because even when you use this offer in the future and use this offer docket in the future, you're going to use this as a hotspot for any time you're creating marketing copy. After you have the answers to those questions, the next step is to simply compile them and assemble them. You're basically taking those smaller sections and you're putting them together. And I have a basic sales page recipe, but of course, I'm encouraging you to break all the rules. I'm going to walk you through this recipe, but just know that you can make it your own. And these pull specifically from those questions that we went over. So again, if you want to copy this sales page copy kit down below this video. So first up is your headline. So I want you to pull the name of your offer from the docket, and you're probably going to make it stronger later, but let's start there. We're getting to editing in a second. Next up is paint the before picture. So for this section of your sales page, I want you to pull from that problem section in your docket. Next up, number 3 is to paint the after picture. And here I want you to pull from the 3 transformation section that we answered in the offer docket. Number 4, introduce your solution. And this is that number 1 question, that description question, when I asked you, how would you describe this offer to a friend or anyone? So I want you to pull from the answer and put it in section 4. Step number 5, give them a call to action. So I want you to invite them to take the next step. And this you're going to be pulling from, what is that point of sale and how can I invite them them to it. Number 6, tell them what's included. So again, we had a question in there about what's included. So I want you to put those in there and put the benefits that go along with them. Next up, present your special offer. So we had a question about that too. What are the bonuses? What is the limited time offer? Why do I want to take action right away? Next up, repeat, give them another call to action. So again, you're going to pull from that point of sale question and put it in there. Next, you're going to show some social proof. So that's when we chatted about testimonials. And then finally, you guessed it, give them another call to action. So you're going to put in and pull from that point of sale question down there as well. So as you can see here, the sections all work upon each other, right? So we go from headline, paint the before picture, paint the after picture, introduce your solution. Then invite them to it. So as I said, this is a basic recipe. You can take this, you can make it your own. We're going to go through the editing process in step number 3, but this will at least get you a great draft on the page. That's a pretty solid sales page, and then you can start messing with it and making it even better. All right, so it's time to add your finesse. And we do a few passes of editing here. I suggest you do at least 3, hopefully 4. And pass number 1, when you're going through section by section, I want you to edit for clarity. So is there anything that doesn't make sense as you're rereading it? I want you to fix those things. Are there any grammatical errors or typos that I want you to fix right away? Does anything just need some smoothing out? I want you to go through and edit section by section for clarity in your first pass. Then I want you to go through a second time. So section by section, I want you to edit for personal brand voice. So does this section sound like me? Is this how I talk? Does this represent the relationship that I want to have with my customers and clients? Where can I add more of my personality into this sales page, or more of my story, right? So as you go section by section, I want you to rewrite with these questions in mind. Then editing past number 3, I want you to edit for emphasis. So this is more of a formatting edit. So where can I add bullet points to allow people to scan a little bit easier? Where can I add bolding for emphasis? Where can I add colors, or just things that make certain pieces of copy stand out based on what I want to emphasize? And then finally, I want you to put that baby to bed for a day or 2, let it rest so that it gets out of your head and it kind of percolates. And then I want you to do a final editing pass, and this is just your final review and touches. I want you to go through section by section, read it as a whole, and just fix up any of those final pieces. So after you're done editing this piece, you're done these 3 steps, I want to encourage you to get that piece of writing out there. It can be very tempting to want to hoard this away and not show it to the light of day, but I want you to get it out there because you have a great piece of writing. If you've gone through these steps, if you've gone through the editing process, you have a solid sales page to put out there. And truthfully, at the end of the day, you're never going to know if it's going to work until you put it out there and let people respond to it and drive traffic to it. So put it out there, and then I want you to focus on getting your first 100 people through to that sales page, and then you can start making some tweaks from there. So again, I just want to remind you, if you are struggling with your sales page, if you need a little extra support, download that sales page kit below this video. And I would love to know in the comments if you want more videos like this, any questions you have about your sales page copy.